Hello everyone, my name is Siti Nurhatiza. For the first part of our presentation, I will be discussing the analysis of customer satisfaction scores. Let me explain how we calculate this. First, relative frequency is calculated by dividing each frequency by the total number of customers. For example, if the total number of customers is 30 and two customers scored between 70 to 74, the relative frequency is 2 divide 30. The answer is 0.07. Next, cumulative relative frequency adds each relative frequency progressively. For instance, 0.07 plus 0.17, the answer is 0.24, and 0.24 plus 0.23, and the answer is 0.47, continuing until it reaches 1. This allows us to understand not just how many customers score in each range, but also the percentage that scores below or at each level. This slide presents two types of graphs to visualize the data. On the left, we have a bar histogram representing the relative frequency of customer satisfaction scores. Each bar shows the proportion of customers within a specific score range. For example, the highest bar is at the 85 to 89 range, which means most customers fall into the category. On the right, we have an OGIF graph, also known as a cumulative frequency graph. The OGIF helps us track how customer scores accumulate. It starts low and increases steady until reach 1, which is 100%. This shows us, for example, that about 77% of customers score 89% or less. Both graph provide quick visual insights into customer sentiment and trends. Now let's move on the customer retention rate. We use the same method to calculate the values here. This final slide shows the visual representation of the customer retention rate using a bar histogram and OGIF graph, just like we did for the satisfaction score. On the left, we have the bar histogram showing the relative frequency of customer retention score. Each bar represents the proportion of customers in each score range. For example, the highest bar is for the 66 to 71 range, with a relative frequency of 0.30. This tells us that 30% of the customers had retention score in that range. On the right, the OGIF graph displays the cumulative relative frequency. This line graph helps us see how the data accumulate. For instance, if we look at the point corresponding to the 77 score range, the cumulative frequency is 0.67. That means 67% of customers had a retention score of 77 or below. This graph makes it easier to understanding how customers are retained across different score levels and to identify where improvement in loyalty strategy might be needed. You can see that just like the satisfaction score, most retention score also fall in the middle range. Both histogram and OGIF graph are powerful tools to visualize the analyze customer data quickly and clearly.
I am Evaira binti Jasli, BB233110075. For part 2, we are focusing on calculating and comparing measures of central location between two key metrics. On this slide, we look at the sample mean for customer satisfaction score. We use the formula for the sample mean, which is the sum of all values divided by the number of observations. In this case, we have 30 customer satisfaction scores when added together give a total of 2,527. Then divide 2,527 by 30 to get the average score, which is 84.23%. On this slide, we look at the sample mean for retention scores. We apply the sample mean formula, which is the total sum of all value divided by the number of observations. Here we have 30 retention scores, and when added together, the total is 2,222. Next, we divide 2,222 by 30, which gives us an average score of 74.07%. Here we are looking at the customer satisfaction score presented in percentage form. To better understand the overall satisfaction level, we calculate the median, which gives us the middle value in a set of data arranged in order. In this case, there are 30 scores. The middle value are at position 15 and 16, which are both 85%. So the median satisfaction score is 85%. Next, we calculate the median for customer retention score, which gives us the middle value in a set of data arranged in order. In this case, the middle value are at positions 15 and 16, which are both 74%. So the median retention score is 74%. For customer satisfaction score mode, here have 30 satisfaction scores from different customers. We can see that both 85% and 88% appear more frequently than the others, each occurring 3 times. This makes our data multimodal, meaning it has more than one mode. In this case, the modes are 85% and 88%. For customer retention score mode, here have 30 retention score from different customer. We can see that both 68% and 80% appear more frequently than the others, each occurring 3 times. This makes our data multimodal, meaning it has more than one mode. In this case, the modes are 68% and 80%.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Nurida Syara binti Masuki. My matrix number BB233010665. So today I want to present my part 3, which is calculate percentiles and construct box plot for each of the two key metrics. For part 3, we will focus on two main tasks, which is the first one, calculating percentiles, and second, constructing box plot for the two key metrics. For the customer satisfaction scores, the source data is 70 to 93. For the customer retention rates, the source data is 60 to 88. The formula we use to calculate the percentile is P equal N plus 1 times percentiles divided 100. Okay, let's look at the result for the customer satisfaction score first. To find the 25 percentile, I look at the value that falls at the first quartile of the list. I found that Q1 is 79.75%, meaning 25% of the companies have a satisfaction score below 79.75%. Okay, the second, for the customer retention rate, the 25 percentile Q1 is 68%, meaning 25% of the companies have retention rate below 68%. The second, for the 50 percentile median, I look at the middle value of the list. The median is 85%, indicating that half of the companies have a score of 85% or higher. For the customer retention rate, the 50 percentile median is 74%, meaning half of the companies retain 74% or more of their customers. For the last one, customer satisfaction score first, for 75 percentile is 89.25%. The last one, I created a box plot to visualize both metrics. For the blue box represents customer satisfaction with the median marked by a red dot at 85%. The second, the green box, represents customer retention with the median at 74%. From the box plot, we can see that the customer satisfaction data is more tightly grouped and stable, while the customer retention data is more spread out, showing greater variability. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good
Good day everyone, my name is Nur Faradila binti Abdul Malik. My matrix number is BT233030552 and I will be presenting part 4 of our analysis, which is measures of dispersion. Let's begin with the first measure, which is range. The range shows the difference between the maximum and minimum values in a dataset. For the formula is range equals maximum values minus minimum value. First of all, a customer satisfaction score, which is 93 minus 70 equal 23. For customer retention rate, 88 minus 60 equal 28. Next, I will explain the second measure of dispersion, which is the interquartile range or IQR. The IQR measures the spread of the middle 50% of the data. It helps us understand how type B or loosely the central values are clustered. The steps to calculate the IQR are sort the data in ascending order, find the first quartile Q1, which is the 25 percentile, find the third quartile Q3, which is the 75 percentile. The formula is IQR equals Q3 minus Q1. For the customer satisfaction score, the IQR is 8.75. The customer retention rate, the IQR is 11. The next part is the variance, and I will use this formula. The variance for customer satisfaction rate is 35.98. The variance for customer retention rate is 49.17. The next part for the measures of dispersion is standard deviation. The formula is S equal variance square root. The standard deviation for customer satisfaction rate is 6.00%. The standard deviation for customer retention rate is 7.01%. The last part of measures of dispersion is coefficient of variation CV. For the formula is CV equal S divided X times 100. The CV for customer satisfaction rate is 7.12%. The CV for customer retention rate 9.47%. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Nur Yusra Wadiha binti Yusuf. My matrix number BB233010123. So I will be presenting part 5. In this part, there are two important measures, which include covariance and correlation coefficient. So this is how we measure covariance using formula. As a result, the covariance value is 39.811. This shows positive value indicates that both variables move in the same direction. In other words, when the customer satisfaction score increase, the customer retention rate also tends to increase. Next is correlation coefficient. So this is how to measure the strength and direction of the linear relationship. So we use the correlation coefficient. As a result, correlation coefficient is 0.9465. This means there is a very strong positive relationship between customer satisfaction and customer retention. In simple terms, the higher the customer satisfaction score, the higher the likelihood that customers will stay loyal to the business. This finding is important because it shows that improving customer satisfaction and significantly improve customer retention rates for the local businesses.